Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hello everybody. In this video, we will discuss subsidiary ledger and control accounts under the topic of accounting cycle. If you think it is beneficial for you, please subscribe, like and share. Subsidiary ledger. A subsidiary ledger is a group of similar accounts whose combined balances equal the balance in a specific general ledger accounts. Subsidiary ledgers facilitate recording of complete financial and other information related to the transaction. The general ledger accounts that summarizes a subsidiary ledger's accounts balances is called a control accounts. For example, accounts receivable and accounts payable. Relationship between control accounts and subsidiary ledger. An accounts receivable subsidiary ledger, those are customers' subsidiary ledger, includes a separate accounts for each customer who makes credit purchases. An accounts payable subsidiary ledger, those are creditors' subsidiary ledger, includes a separate accounts to each supplier or creditor that company owes. The combined balance of every accounts in subsidiary ledger equals the balance of accounts receivable or accounts payable in general ledger. Subsidiary ledger contains supplemental accounts that provide the details to support the balance in a control accounts. Now, let us see the illustration of relationship between control accounts and subsidiary ledger. In general ledger, accounts receivable is a control account. And the subsidiary ledgers, for example, Customer 1, Customer 2, and Customer 3. Subsidiary ledgers in accounts receivable records all transactions in respect of debtors and with the balance. So, the balance of accounts receivable equals to the balance of Customer 1 plus balance of Customer 2 plus balance of Customer 3. In general ledger, accounts payable is also a control accounts. And the subsidiary ledger, for example, creditor 1, creditor 2, and creditor 3. Subsidiary ledger in accounts payable record all transactions in respect of creditors and with the balance. So, the balance of accounts payable equals to balance of creditor 1 plus balance of creditor 2 plus balance of creditor 3. Now, let us see how to generate a subsidiary accounts or subsidiary ledger by posting from special journals and general journals. Please refer to the example of special journal and general journal from the previous video. There are several steps to do it. First step, refer sales journal to find out subsidiary ledger of accounts receivable and post ledger in the form of T accounts. Now, let us check the sales journal. In the sales journal, we can find that on 4th March, Dani Enterprise And on 6 March, Dani Enterprise. Those enterprises are the subsidiary of accounts receivable. Secondly, refer to the General Journal and Cash Receipt Journal to find out any transaction that involve Dani Enterprise and Dani Enterprise. Now, let us check the General Journal. In General Journal, we can find that on 12 March, there is a transaction for accounts receivable Dani Enterprise amounting 800 credit for sales return, and there is no transaction for Dani Enterprise. Then we check on Cash Receipt Journal. In Cash Receipt Journal, we can find that on 14 March, we received payment from Dani Enterprise. Because of the credit terms 2/15 and 30, Dani Enterprise is eligible for sales discount of 2%, amounting 320. So the cash received equals to the invoice given 16,800 minus the sales return minus the sales discount amounting 15,680. After we check all those special journal and general journal, then we can prepare the subsidiary ledger. We start with Dani Enterprise. Firstly, draw the T accounts and then write the title Dani Enterprise. Then follow the steps. Firstly, write down the balance brought forward at the debit side. In this question, there is no balance brought forward. So just write down the date, 1st March, balance brought forward, dash. We put the balance brought forward at the debit side because it is accounts receivable under assets. Second step is to look at the sales journal, whether there is any sales from Dani Enterprise. We found that just now that on 4th March there is sales from Dani Enterprise amounting 16,800. Third step is to check on the General Journal whether there is any sales return. And just now we found that on 12th March there is sales return amounting 800. We put at the credit side because it will decrease the sales. Fourth step, check the cash receipt journal whether is there any payment from Dani Enterprise or is there any discounts given. We also found that just now that on 14 March, we received cash amounting 15,680 and the sales discount 320. After that, we balance the accounts left and right. Take the bigger amounts. In this case, we found that the left and right has the same amount. That is 16,800. The amounts at the left and right must be same. And then the last step is to write down the balance carry forward. That is, the date must be 31st March. Balance carry forward 0. Besides the accounts, we can prepare the subsidiary ledger by using the columnar form like this. This form is useful when using accounting software. After that, we prepare the second subsidiary ledger of accounts receivable, that is Dani Enterprise. Firstly, draw the T accounts line and then write down the title Dani Enterprise. Then follow the steps. The first step is to write down the balance brought forward. In this question, Dani Enterprise also don't have the balance brought forward. So write down 1st March balance brought forward dash or 0. The second step is to check on sales journal. Just now, we found that on 6 March, sales from Dani Enterprise amounting 10,200. The second step is to check on general journal if there is any sales return. Just now, we found out that there is no sales return from Dani Enterprise. Then the fourth step is to check on the cash receipt journal whether is there any payment received or any discounts from Dani Enterprise. Just now, we also found that there is no payment received from Dani Enterprise. Then, we balance the accounts left and right. Take the bigger amount, that is 10,200, both left and right. And then lastly, write down the balance carry forward. At the credit side, write down on 31st March, balance carry forward is 10,200. Then the accounts is balance. Besides the T accounts, we can also prepare the subsidiary ledger using the form of columnar, like this. And this form of columnar is useful when we use the accounting software. We have finished preparing the subsidiary ledger of accounts receivable. Those are Dani Enterprise and Dani Enterprise. And in general ledger, the control accounts for this subsidiary is accounts receivable. It will combine all the amounts in their subsidiary. In accounts receivable ledger, we can see that the total sales are amounting 27,000. Those are from Dani Enterprise and Dani Enterprise. While sales return, cash, and sales discounts are from Dani Enterprise only, because Dani Enterprise didn't have those transactions. And we also can see that the balance carry forward in Dani Enterprise, that is 0, plus the balance carry forward from Dani Enterprise, that is 10,200, will equals to the balance carry forward in control accounts, accounts receivable, that is equals to 10,200. And these are the relationship between the account subsidiary and also the control accounts in general ledger. Same goes to subsidiary ledger for accounts payable. First step, refer purchase journal to find out subsidiary ledger of accounts payable and post ledger in the form of T accounts. You will find out that the subsidiaries are Dani Enterprise and Wali Enterprise. The second step, refer to the General Journal and Cash Payment Journal to find out any transaction that involve Dani Enterprise and Wali Enterprise. Firstly, we check on Purchase Journal. In this Purchase Journal, we found that the subsidiaries are Dani Enterprise and Wali Enterprise. Then we can make a subsidiary ledger of accounts payable. Firstly, write or draw the T accounts line for Dani Enterprise. Firstly, write down the balance brought forwards. That is on 1st March. The balance brought forward is 0. We write it on the credit side because it is the subsidiary ledger on accounts payable. Accounts payable is under liability. And then record the purchase. That is on 11 March, purchase amounting 52,600. After that, write down the T accounts for Wali Enterprise. Firstly, write down the balance brought forward. That is on 1st March, the balance brought forward equals to 0. Then record the purchase credit on 22nd March, the purchase amounting 41,625. Secondly, check the general journal whether is there any purchase return. In this general journal, we found that on 16 March, there is accounts payable Dani Enterprise for purchase return amounting 200. So we record in Dani Enterprise account on 16 March, purchase return 200 at the debit side because the purchase return will decrease the purchase, or it will also decrease the credit amount. Then we check on the cash payment journal. In this cash payment journal, we found that on 21st March, accounts payable Dani Enterprise, we paid under bank 51,352 and the purchase discount is 1,048. So we record it under Dani Enterprise account. On 21st March, bank 51,352 and also purchase discount 1,048. In this transaction, there are no purchase written and there is no payment for Dani Enterprise. So we close the accounts. We balance the accounts left and right. For Dani Enterprise, the amount is 52,600 equals at the debit side and also at the credit side. And then lastly, we write down the balance carry forward on 31st March. That is 0. And for Dani Enterprise, we balance it left and right and take the bigger amount, that is 41,625 left and right. And lastly, write down the balance carry forward, that is on 31st March. The balance carry forward equals to 41,625. Then the accounts is balanced. So these are the subsidiary ledger of accounts payable. And how about the control accounts in general ledger? The control accounts for this subsidiary ledger is accounts payable. So firstly, write down the balance brought forward on 1st March equals to 0. In these control accounts, the amounts is the combination of its subsidiaries that are Dani Enterprise and Dani Enterprise. After that, we record the purchase. Write down the date 31st March. The purchase amounting 94,225. You can refer to the purchase journal at the total amount. Then, record the purchase return from the general journal, that is from Dani Enterprise, amounting 200. And then, write down the payment, that is also from Dani Enterprise, amounting 51,352, and also purchase discount 1,048. And then we balance the accounts left and right. So take the bigger amount, that is 94,225, must same with at the left side, also write 94,225. And lastly, write down the balance carry forward at the debit side. The date is 31st March. Balance carry forward is 41,625. Then the accounts is balanced. So this is how you record the subsidiary ledger and also the general ledger for the control accounts. And the total carry forward for accounts payable must be equals to the balance of Dani Enterprise balance carry forward plus Dani Enterprise balance carry forward. Okay, that's all for the subtopics of accounts, subsidiary and control accounts. If you like this video, please subscribe, like and share. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and selamat sejahtera.